Baby, I hope y'all caught that Dorit and Garcelle are out here doing the same exact thing, throwing unfounded allegations at people and acting surprised at the result. I got my notes. I hope y'all got yours. Let's get on into this damn mess. So let's get into these reunion fashions and see who was hitting and who was missing. For me, there was nobody that really missed the assignment. I thought that all the ladies looked beautiful. I do have my favorites though, my favorites and my least favorites, because you naturally do. Fashion is subjective, so some designs are going to register with you more than others. And for me, I would say best dress was Dorit. I really like the detail and embellishments on her dress, as well as just the proportions. It really stood out to me. And to find out that it was part of her upcoming dress line, I thought it was a really good promo for her brand. In terms of my least favorite, I would have to say Sutton's, only because I couldn't really understand the proportions of the dress as she was sitting down. I think if she stood up, the dress might look different to me, but when she sat down, I didn't think it was very flattering. It seemed to turn into almost like a blue crushed flower. It just didn't look good in terms of when all the ladies were sitting there and how their dresses presented while sitting down. So least favorite, but as I said, nobody missed the assignment. It's just personal preference. So y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think in terms of who was best dressed and who was worst dressed, or who you just didn't identify with. Moving forward, Erika states her case out the gate. Hasn't been charged with a crime and innocent until proven guilty. Y'all, they didn't really get into much of the Erika stuff this episode. As we come to find out, this is a 4-part reunion, so we have time. But it seemed like this episode was more of just like a framing in terms of let's dip our toes into the Erika issue, but not really explosively get into it. So I think it was great for them just to allow her the moment to sort of state her case, to apologize to, the victims, to explain how she came across to us as the viewers, and to also give her the chance to basically say, I have not been charged with a crime. And if we're going to let the legal system do what the legal system is supposed to do, then technically I'm innocent until I'm proven guilty of a crime. So I thought that was a great sort of framing tactic. The only issue that, of course, we're going to have with this is that, unfortunately, though the legal system is innocent until proven guilty, she's already guilty in the court of public opinion, right? And that's just simply because of her proximity to the situation, people not being able to believe that as his wife, you knew absolutely nothing. And furthermore, the inconsistencies in her story that pretty much throw a wrench in people having whole heart belief in terms of what she's saying. So I'll be interested to get into, Andy analyzing the situation and also letting the ladies give their opinions it'll be a more combative space, but I think it would also turn into a more honest space, because people at reunions feel free to go for the jugular. So I really want to get into people's actual opinions and not the glossed over ones that they presented because they were sort of afraid of getting on Erika's toes, or, disrespecting her, or feeling like they were asking too many questions at a time. So interesting to see. We'll see what happens. Moving forward, Sutton and her full circle life updates. Y'all, I know that they have to fill all of this time because it's a 4-part reunion with certain things, but was it me, or did y'all think that the Sutton update really didn't give any real new information? I was sitting there they could have cut some of this. Okay, we already knew that Sutton is very emotional and dramatic. Ding, 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 you are the winner of a contest that nobody was trying to enter. We all know that she's very emotional. She's very dramatic. She's not combative. Everything pretty much affects her. So that was really nothing new there. She moved into her new house. We pretty much knew that. The things that I want to talk about, though, are 2 specific things. One she talked about during the montage, or that came up as a result of the montage, and something that came up later. So although she moved into her new house, apparently she almost burned down Kyle's. Talk about going from into the fire into, you know, a good situation, or into a new life, but or coming out of the fire into your new life. But baby, when they showed Kyle's photo of her fireplace and the you know, the blackened charred brick or whatever that was surrounding it, I was like, I know Sutton is about to come up off some money for this, right? But then as she explained, you know, she didn't charge her a security deposit because mama was only supposed to be there for 1 month, okay? 1 month turned to a year. And I don't know how people are set up, but let me just tell you, Black people don't play with fire, okay? We like gas fireplaces where you can pretty much, like, you know, turn on the switch and turn it off. That whole real fire crackling thing where you chopping up wood outside and throwing it in actual flames and embers could get out and burn down your whole house, we don't do that, okay? And to me, it just shows like sort of like the nonchalantness, or just the not understanding danger aspect of how Sutton treated this, right? Like, to me, if you're in this place, and clearly she must have used the fireplace a lot because it was pretty charred around it, but if you don't see that the surround of the fireplace is white, it's black as hell in the middle because the fires are coming up, and then the brown part of the fireplace a little bit, you know, singed too. The fact that that didn't throw off any alarms in your head is a bit alarming to me, right? So I'm glad Kyle phrased it in a kind of joking way that she has to do repairs to the house and stuff. And as we know, Sutton ain't hurting for money, so she would gladly, like, you know, write that check and send it over. But I thought that was a little bit of a funny situation. And then in terms of the other thing I want to talk about, her boyfriend broke up with her. So we didn't really learn much about this boyfriend. He kind of like popped in and popped out through the season. I don't even know what he does or, you know, anything like that. But it was just interesting in terms of her talking about how he broke up with her. Because if you're going to take somebody on a trip and y'all are having like this, you know, loving situation, and then next thing you know, this man is talking about like, I just can't do this anymore. I think Andy asked her, like, what did he exactly say to her? And, you know, that's what she said. So I'm like, how does the vacation go from there? Like, do you immediately end it? Like, y'all are away somewhere. I had so many more questions, and I hope that at some point, maybe next season, she, you know, this becomes a storyline on the show, because in terms of what I've read, they've kept the cameras rolling because Erika's life is such a, for lack of a better term, train wreck, and it's must-see TV. So hopefully they'll, you know, dive into this whole Sutton situation, because I think it's also must-see TV to find out how Sutton reacted to this damn relationship in real time. So y'all drop down in the comments to let me know if you want to see it too, or if I'm just being nosy. Anywho, moving forward, Dorit versus Garcelle. Let me just breathe for all of us. Dorit doesn't know what she wants from Garcelle, direct versus passive. I'm not going to belabor this point a lot either, because I've covered this in detail in, you know, other reviews of these episodes. But honestly, y'all, I really left with an overarching feeling of, I don't even think Dorit knows what she wants in that relationship with Garcelle, right? If she's too direct, then she's bullying you, in your words, or she's coming for you, or she's throwing daggers at you. If she's not direct with you and she says stuff in her confessional, then she's being shady and doing underhand stuff. So you can't have it both ways. And I think that it would help the situation if you knew how you wanted her to talk to you. There's a saying that we teach people how to treat us, okay? Dorit, you're going to have to teach Garcelle how to treat you, okay? Because through the TV as the viewer, it's really not clear in terms of what you actually want. And I've said this in a prior video, but Garcelle, if mama does not want passive aggression, you're going to have to give her active aggression, okay? So listen, put the damn jabs away and just find a bow and arrow and just go straight to her heart and her head, okay? Because then maybe that will land better. And sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So perhaps she could do better in that scenario. But I just felt like the whole Dorit Garcelle thing was very confusing. And it was just reminiscent to me of that y'all aren't going to be friends. Sometimes people just have different ways of going about conflict and different attitudes towards it. And it just seems like their two ways of going about the same scenario are so different that it's not going to really gel up. But we'll get into how they're similar later when we talk about Rinna versus Garcelle. All right, y'all. So Rinna versus Garcelle, I got a couple points on this. Garcelle is dubious of Rinna's sincerity. Rinna feels like her efforts are in vain. I honestly see both situations here, y'all. Garcelle is sitting there like once bitten, twice shy. And Rinna's like, I'm going to keep trying and I'm going to keep making efforts and hopefully one of them will land, right? But if we break down what the central issue is, and Garcelle, pretty much said this later on, is that she doesn't trust her. My question to the whole situation is, where did the lapse in trust start, right? Is this solely dependent on the Denise situation? Or did this start, a long time ago before that, and that was just the straw that broke the camel's back? So I'm a little bit concerned with that. But like I said, I see both sides of the situation. Garcelle is like, every single time I try to step out there on faith that Lisa's going to be a good friend to me, I end up on my ass. And Rinna is like, I show you through my actions that I care and I don't know what else I can do. And I thought that that Erika brought up a really good point, that eventually, if Rinna is throwing you birthday parties, bringing you sauce, doing X, Y, and Z, eventually, if everything that she does is viewed in the light that it's not genuine or it's insincere, then eventually I'm going to stop and we're going to be at an impasse, right? And so if I can't show you that I'm trying to be more of a friend to you through my actions, then I don't know what you want from me. So I thought that was a very interesting scene going back and forth. And just learning more about them in that relationship. I didn't realize that it was the longest, like that relationship on the show, like they've known each other the longest. So I thought that was interesting. And furthermore, another point just came to me, like the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference, right? So if you still have a feeling about someone, if you still care, whether it's, a loving feeling or whether it's, some sort of like hatred type situation, there's still some care there. If Rinna and Garcelle didn't care about the situation, they'd be completely indifferent to each other. So I think the fact that they keep trying, even though, they're failing and keep coming into conflicts, I think that there's something there that's still worth exploring. Even though at times I do feel that they need to, take a break from each other. Moving forward, Garcelle loses her damn mind and makes a race accusation against Rinna. Loosely saying that she heard from somebody else that Rinna didn't like that Garcelle brought race into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay. I usually am on Garcelle's side, y'all. And when I tell you, my mouth was hanging open when she threw this accusation at Lisa Rinna, because first off, and I'm going to go up for Rinna because it's very uncharacteristic of Rinna in terms of who we know through the screen and who we've come to know, that this would be even something that emanates from her mouth, right? And so Garcelle kind of framed it because Rinna kept asking, like, what's your problem with me? Like, what's the central issue? And then we can fix it. And then she launches off and says, I heard that you basically didn't want me to bring race into the conversation here. Okay, let's dissect this. You heard from a third party that I said that I didn't like that you bringing race into the show was a good thing, right? Loosely. At the end of the day, you hearing it from a third party is hearsay. Let's talk about that. Let's also talk about that you trusted the third party more than you trusted Rinna. That's the second part. And the third part is, if she said it and you thought that there was some inkling of her saying it, wouldn't it have been more prudent to go to Rinna and say, listen, this is what someone told me about what you said. Can you confirm or deny if this is true? And let's talk about it, right? If you all are such long friends, as you say, and you've known each other the longest, then to me, regardless of the issues that y'all have going on right now, wasn't it worth a conversation before you ended up blasting it on national TV? And let's be like very serious here. That's a very strong accusation to make because it has very racial undertones. So I really thought it was interesting that in one breath, Garcelle is coming at Dorit and saying that you called me a bully. That was very inflammatory, which it was. But then in the next breath, you're pretty much doing the same thing to Rinna, right? Unfounded allegations, okay, that you're launching at people. And then the fact that you were so surprised about the reaction that you got really sent me, because I'm just like, you cannot call someone a racist in today's society and not expect the situation to blow up from there. So it was just the lack of awareness for me, and also the hearsay nature of it. Like, Garcelle, girl, I know you were on the real, but I have never seen a journalist degree on your walls or any sort of, other education surrounding this. So when they were saying who told you the information, this was your time to put someone on blast, right? And then she was like, oh, I'll send text afterwards. Absolutely not. If you felt the information was accurate enough for you to display it on national TV, then you should feel also that the person who told you it could be displayed on national TV as well, okay? And it could get into a whole bunch of like, well, that was my friend and they don't want to be into this. Okay, well, listen, if they said it, they clearly want to be involved in some way. And listen, you don't have no damn journalist degree. This ain't your damn deep throat. This ain't some anonymous source or whatever. Clearly, if you're going to send text about it, it's someone that all of you know. I don't think it's one of the ladies on the stage, but it might be somebody that's, adjacent to them or whatever that might have said something. So I just think that it was very strange that Dorit and Garcelle have that whole unfounded allegation thing in common. So listen, they say that friends have similar interests, and perhaps y'all could build something on y'all launching off with unfounded allegations at people. That was so wrong, y'all. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm trying to make sure everybody is friends, even though in my heart, I'm just like, listen, people are not meant to all be friends, okay? We can't all be friends because then we'd have nobody to talk about. Okay. And that's an ode to Funky Dineva, the whole okay thing. Let me know if y'all caught that. All right, to the third point on Rinna and Garcelle. And I think Andy brought this up the best, just in terms of that time really heals all wounds in terms of that relationship. And I think that it's good that they constantly try to work on it, but I think that it's just going to take time, right? I think you had a good moment on the stage where it showed there's still love there, right? So there's still something that's worth pursuing there. I just think that it's going to take time, right? It took time to break apart the relationship, so you have to admit that it's going to take time to repair it back. So, good luck to them. I'm not the biggest Garcelle-Rinna combination fan, but even I, was a little bit in favor of the situation when Rinna was just so excited to go over there to Garcelle to embrace her and try to say, listen, if I didn't mess with you, I would just say F you and keep it moving. So the fact that I keep trying means that at my core, I really do care. So I thought that was beautiful. All right, y'all. And to this last part, just in terms of an Erika Tom cliffhanger, Erika basically says that she's made excuses for Tom in the past just regarding him not reading her book or not coming to Chicago because he was her husband. And I understand that. I think that when you are married to someone, you're supposed to show a united front, and you're always supposed to be your spouse's advocate, and you're supposed to be in their corner. So I think that her making excuses for him just in terms of him not reading her book or him not coming to Chicago was pretty much her wifely duties in that situation. But as I said before, this is pretty much a framing tactic where we're lightly dipping our way into their relationship just to understand the psychology behind it or where they started, and then they're going to form all the different avenues from there. And then also, Erika says that she plainly told Tom, if you're cheating on me, leave me. And he pretty much said absolutely nothing. So like I said, very good framing topics for next week's episode. I'm extremely excited for the reunion part 2. And I think that's really all I want to say on this one, y'all. So a really good episode. I thought we got some good drama, some, light resolutions, and a nice little, foreshadowing for what's to come. So if you liked what I said, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Stereo, and Twitter at DatDamnDasher. And until next time, y'all, bring on the drama with part 2. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.